Again, this is my designer screen for this assignment that I designed. Yours can look exactly like it does in PLTW. And oh, there it is. So it could look exactly like this, which is the designer screen that's in PLTW. You do have a document in here. Make sure you read this, please. And you do have a document in here that has the code that matches this. So it's up to you, and you have to make sure that these are the questions that are on the survey from PLTW. You need to make sure that you're asking your questions based upon the interview database that you wanted to create. So use your information, use your notes out of your computer science notebook, use your documentation out of PLTW, use your designer screen if you haven't yet done it. It is past due. This work was actually due on the 28th. Today is the 31st of this recording. Here's your lesson. I put it in here for you so you could follow along. You're doing an interview database. It's been in here since we started this lesson last week. Everything that you need is here in your MyPLTW, in your notebook, in your notes. This is part one where I set up my designer screen to look like this. This is the designer screen that came out of PLTW. This is the code that matches this designer screen. Okay? I can't do any more for you except do it for you. And that's not going to allow you to learn anything. So I may not be speaking during this recording. I'm going to code my app using my screen and the information provided. First thing I would like to do, I would like to change my screen name. Now you need to have at least 4 questions that you're going to ask on your interview. One, two, three, four. This is where you add your text buttons. Questions are going to get typed right there. You can have more questions if you want, but you have to have a minimum of 4. So I want to rearrange my questions. So these are the questions that were predetermined when I was thinking about doing my database and what I wanted my subject to be. When screen 1 is initialized,
If we okay, I just I can't even figure they might go trip. Miss Williams, I need to change the thing to it's these ones, right? A memorial. These ones in a box, like.
so as I'm going through coding, I'm seeing there's some issues with the way I have my designer screen laid out. So I'm going to fix it.
Well, I ain't gonna lie, I did that for today.
What you can't see is I'm checking my notes to make sure I have it laid out correctly. Okay, I've rearranged my screen just a little bit to match my notes and to make it easier to code. So now I'm going to go back over to my block code. Before I do this, I just wanted to let you know that I did find that I had two display questions in here, and I only needed one. So that's what was causing me to have errors before I even started doing any extensive coding. Select the list, item list, and the index. So this has to come from the global. So I need to go back into variables. Get. Global interview questions. Back into variables. Get. Global index. So I'm going to start with the get next question option. Get next question. When clicked, we want it to do something. So we need to go back into variables, and we need to get control. We need to get control, and we need to get a if then else. Just this right here, an if then else. And that goes here. So if get global index, so we're going to need a get global index, and we're going to need another get global interview question. Because right now we're working about when the button get the next question is clicked. These are the things that we want it to do, and the primary if is what we're working on right now. And I am looking for a math function button right now. So it's going to be this. And this goes here.
Have to go to Drummond, Vermont.
And we need to do something with our lists. So the length of our list you'll notice has this opening here. This is where we add our get global interview questions. So this is our list. So this command right here is saying that we have to go to this list and we're going to get the local interview questions, which are these. Global interview questions. These are the list of our questions. There we go. Set global index. We'll go here. And we need to do an addition function. Sorry, so now I need to put a get global index right here. Use the drop down, put global index, and then we're going to set this to 1 just like we have here. Global index to 1, and we need to set it to 1 also. That it's only going to show one question at a time. So I need blank math. So when you're asking your questions and you're getting the indexes, so you need to think about what else is going to happen in the then. So this is where you want to store. You need to add your tiny database commands because you need to store your answers. So we need to go find our tiny database, which is going to be at the bottom. And we need to find the one that says store value right here. We're going to call up our tiny database. Once the questions are asked and people start answering them, we have to store our tiny database information. We need a couple of joins in here and the tag and the value to store. So those are going to be, I'm trying to remember, our text right here. So we need this here, and we also need another join down here. So in the first join, we're going to store our interviewee's name and their text about their interviewee's name. We're going to store our global index, and we're going to get a global index to store. So let's go find our interviewee's name, and we need one of these. Don't worry that says background color right now, because you hit the drop down, change it to text. And we have to get our global index. So we go back here, and this get global index. So now we've just done the first thing. We're going to tag it with the interviewee's name and get the global index at the same time. In here, we're going to have to click our mutator button and add some information. Okay? So we have 2 here. And I think we're going to need 7. I think we're going to need 7 or 8 of these. We can always subtract or add if we need to. There's 3. Whoops. 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to add an 8th one, and if we don't need it, we'll pull it back out. Bring this up. So the value that we're going to store in our tiny database, we need to have our date picker.
No, I can check you.
Oops. No. Right here. We need to have our date picker, the date of the interview. Grab the interview, grab that. That's going to go here. You can store it however you want. First thing we need is our month in here. So we change that to month, date of the interview. And then we need a text here. And we're going to put a space and a dash and a space, because it's going to have the month, so you're going to have the month and then the day. You could put the day first if you want, okay? And then we need to go back to our data interview. We're going to grab another one of these, the one for the day. Okay. And then we need another one of these. We're going to make it look just like that. So we need to go back into our text, and we need a segment text for our year. Segment text, we need to put one of these, but it needs to say year in there. Okay, so let's go back to our date picker, and we need one of these. Okay, don't forget, we're going to change that from there to, where did year go? To year. Okay. And we want it to start, we want our year to be set up. It's going to start in position 3. And it's going to have a length of just 2 digits, so the end of the year. Whoops. Where did that go? Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Some of my tabs went away. Okay. Let's click this again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now that I have information in here, you have to add it to the end. Again, I'm going to go ahead and add 3 just in case. I need another text so that it's going to print out the year. So I want that right there. I think I'm going to do one more of those. I'll just wait. So I'm going to leave that there. And then now we need to register it in our list and store our information. We need our interviewee's name. It's right here. Let's see, which one is that? I can't see them all. Interviewee's name. Change that to text. I need a global index. So I'll go back to variables, get. Oops. Come on. Global index. Now I still need to have some information, have a text box underneath this, and I need to have the command that says we want to get the interviewee's answers in text. So I'm going to come to my mutator, I'm going to add 2 more. Again, I'm checking my notes, I'm using everything that I have at my disposal, including my designer, which I have that etched out in my sketch right here. Okay? So I need a text. And I need my interviewee's answer text. My interviewee's answers, there it is. Because we're storing the answers, remember? Got to store the answers. This is everything related to storing the answers. Go ahead and go, guys.
No, she just said go. What the fuck is you doing?
Jemiah, calm down. Micah, go ahead and go, honey. Yeah, it's 2:30. Everybody else is in the assembly, so they may not have the bell going. Oh, there's the bell. All right, you have a good evening. Have a good weekend. Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna.
Almost got this done. I'm gonna turn it in by tomorrow on Sunday.
Okay, fabulous. Thank you. So we have to set our global index again. And again, we're going to set it to 1. It's a math function. Whoops. Going to set it to 1. Okay, we need to get our interviewee name, text, and answers in here. So let me go find our interviewee name again. And we need to set, and again, this has a drop down, so it doesn't make a difference. Let me change this to text. And then we also need set interviewees answers. Let me find the answers right here. We're going to grab another set. And we're going to change this to text also.
You're recording. Be able to take out our.
Okay, we need some blank text in here. Oops, it's not grabbing. We need one here. These empties are for these questions to get answered, and they're either going to be typed or your audio record function is going to insert that information here. This is a blank text, and it can either be used to write things into, like we did with our questions, or they can stay blank, like these are, for someone to put their information in to answer a response. We need our set display questions, so let's go find our display questions right here. We need to set our display questions. Oops, not getting it again. Now this goes here, and the reason that goes at the bottom on the if-else is because it's connected to this, not in a database, so we don't have to worry about the database information. These are questions that we've already written and preset here that are going to be displayed for the person taking the interview. So we need to select text, and just like here, we have to go get our list, and we need to select from the item list and the index. We have to select from the item list and the index. Okay, sorry about the pause again. So what we have to add here in our select list item list are our global interview questions, and then what's going to go here is the global index. So we go back into our variables, and we need to put a get there. Let's go back to variables. Let's get a get there. And we go for our global interview questions. And then from the index, the global index. All right. I am going to stop this video, and I will make another one for the rest of the steps, because we have to program the date picker. We have to program the notifier, the reset database list, the record button. We have to select the record button. We could do that right now very quickly. And then we have to program the when speech recognizer button. So those those, and then we also have to retrieve the database. So these are only the first one. This is only the first part of the rest of the coding. Um, I'll record the rest of it and post that for students to use to program their assignment.